Hi, I'm Batman. Sometimes I make coffee. Sometimes I drink it. Sometimes I stare at some buildings with no particular reason. Sometimes I make friends, even a lot. And sometimes I have enemies, but sometimes enemies can become friends. And sometimes they are kind enough to make you a wonderful massage, even if it's done in a strange way and using strange tools. Oh yeah. In fact, Marcus, you're not supposed to show that. Well, moving on. Sometimes I go to magic shows because I love that. You understand that and why. Sometimes I ride in my Batmobile. And sometimes I fly in my Batplane. Well, in fact, sometimes the Batplane is repaired and I have to use a replacement plane. And some things has to be done. So sometimes I'm on a bat toilet. Yes, because my logo is on it. That is why. But I have something important to tell you. Everybody thinks my real identity is Bruce Wayne. You know what? Sometimes I'm George Parker.
Les interviews magiques de Marcus Majard.
Hi everybody and welcome in this new Magic interview. I hope you liked my bat intro in my new bat video and, well, I hope you liked it. The reason for this intro is very simple. I consider George Parker not only as a great magician, but also like a friend. And we share the same passion, well, of course for magic, but also a passion for Batman. We even sometimes share photos about our goodies, like for example t-shirts, like this one, or for example Batman underwears. Wait a minute. Does somebody see it? Huh? Hey! Give me that! What the hell are you doing with that? No. In fact, I don't want to know it. So, as I was saying, the Batman underwear. And so, sometimes we make a friendly battle about our stuff about Batman. Can you show an example of it, please? There are too much positive things to say about George Parker. When you talk to him for only about 5 minutes, you feel immediately how experienced he is. But not only about magic, he's also a consultant for corporates. More precisely, he's an alchemist. He guides people from A to B to solve a problem in incredible ways. And above all of that, he has a huge kindness that you can also feel in only about a few minutes after meeting him. He came in Brussels for a masterclass in... Excuse me. Are you sure about the date, guys?
Yeah, I know we are in April 2019.
Well, when you said we are late, I didn't know we are so late. Well, he came in October 2017. And he was kind enough to make this interview. Let's now watch the interview and I see you after that. Well, thank you a lot, George Parker, to accept this interview. It's always an honor for me. And welcome in Belgium.
It's mutual. Yes, I feel honored. Thanks for having me.
My first question is, what is your opinion about magic these days? How do you feel the magic world for the moment?
I think the key word is diversity. Because in an age like we live in now, there's so many channels and so many ways to do magic, and you can see it all. There's so many styles that didn't used to be like that because people were far more confined to their own region. They couldn't travel as far like a century ago. Mobility, and especially the internet now, spread the word. So you got it like a music, any type of music, small, big, hard rock, classical, jazz, and even styles we don't even know about. And there's always a market for any kind of magic. So diversity would be the word.
Okay, and so you are consulted for corporates to help to solve some problems. Do you think that as a magician it helps you to solve problems maybe in another way than other consultants who do it in a more classic way? How do you feel it?
To me, being a magician means being a consultant, because my task isn't just to be a performance magician, doing card tricks, for example. I go back to the roots of magic, and the roots of magic are transformation, healing, the shaman, so to speak. Now, the shaman danced around the fire. That's not what I do in a corporation. But basically, it's the premise. The premise there was, let's dance around the fire, share food, thoughts, share grief and sadness, and share silence, but also let's laugh together, thereby transforming you into something or someone better than you were. So to me, all the ingredients were there, because now you're participating, which in a show, for example, there's a lot of participation from the audience in me. You also show people images of what could be, like the shaman would show, a floating rock, for example. It was a trick, but people start to like, there's more than meets the eye. You give people hope, which is what a consultant needs to do. This is a way out of your problem. So to me, it coincides. It's always been that for me. I work from a more transformational magic tradition than from just a performance magic. I never wanted to be a star anyway. I wanted to make a difference. So for example, next week I'll be doing a project. Well, I'll be performing a stunt, but it's not a stunt like Houdini did, escaping from a box that was dropped into a river. I'm doing a stunt performing for 24 hours, actually interacting with the work floor and helping them to address problems. So I use my drawing skills, I use my magic skills, my conversation skills. I'm actually sitting around the fire. There's no fire, obviously, but it's like sitting together and making a difference. When I'm present as a magician, things out of the ordinary should happen, and people should feel uplifted and believe in things that could happen or the impossible.
All right. And you have a beautiful way to perform magic, not only with stories, but you use a sort of live lessons. Is it your way to push magic to another level?
It's mainly to push magic into my level, or to agree with my level. So I don't, that sounds maybe rude, but I don't really care what other people do. To me, the most important thing is agreeing with myself. I would recommend any magician. So some people love to dance and have fire on stage, for example, or laser beams or boxes, whatever. That's just, I feel everybody should align with themselves. To me, the word original doesn't mean being different from others. It means going back to your own origin and create magic from there. So that's, to me, the most important thing. So once I stay true to myself, I know things come out. So, and the show you saw yesterday was my first theater show, The Fifth Element, and I played many versions of that. And one of the things to stay true to myself, I can't have a fixed show with fixed objects, because that's not me. If I stay true to myself, this interview is different from any interview I've ever got. There's ingredients, but I need to be able to improvise, and that's just what I do in the show. So I have a setup, a structure, ABC for that audience. And that evening, it's the perfect mix. At least that's what I try to achieve. But I mix out stuff like, that doesn't work for this audience, or that doesn't work for this room. While I'm doing it, even I go like, nope, yep, nope. I'm like a chef in the kitchen, who goes like, okay, I was trying to fry the potatoes, but this audience really doesn't like French fries. So you know what? I'll mash the potatoes. Works much better for it. Same potatoes, different way of dealing with them. So I guess one of my fascinations is storytelling and deepen things and help people to be aligned with themselves, thereby creating shows that mix in lots of comedy, interaction, and some life lessons that I learned.
All right. Well, I have to say it was wonderful. The
you
show of yesterday, it was very amazing. Really.
No, to me that's most. I made it work for my audience. Great. Next day, same challenge. Like, how do I make it work for this audience? Because some people are highly educated. It's like I try to use the language, and working in Brussels is different from working in Hollywood, for example. In Las Vegas Magic Castle, I did my Fifth Element in the parlor first year, and I go like, ooh, wait a minute, I really need to dial it down. It needs to be more magical because people aren't, they're drinking, they're out, night out. Magicians are a little bit different there, so I need to dial it a little bit different. I need to shift it and shape it in a little different form. I won't lose my essence, I won't lose the structure, but I will switch in acts in order to impress magicians or accommodate Americans. In Istanbul, for example, when I performed there, people are much more sensitive, much more emotional, much more tactile. So they love me touching, and so that's easier for me actually. But I can bend myself into a German mind or an English mind. And now I'm generalizing, but I try to read the audience and prepare the potatoes, so to speak, in a way that actually tastes for my audience. And that's a big challenge, but it's really nice to do that. So I'm happy I succeeded. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to you. Well, I suppose it's a huge development of this question, but in short, what will be the specific advice you will give to a magician to grow his magic?
Well, first I relate to what I said earlier. Find your own voice, which means relate to what's original to you. The big problem is many times you're exposed to the next new thing that you become a second-hand magician, as I call it, maybe a third-hand magician, because the review says this is the best trick ever, and that's how they promote it. Mm-hmm. That's how shops need to promote it. Like, well, this is the best thing that's ever been done with cards. That's obviously not true. Because it's like, oh, this is the best dinner I ever had. Yeah, for that moment, and that's the way. Oh, you're the best magician I ever saw. No, I am not. But for the moment, it feels like that. So stay away from that and go what the shaman called a vision quest. Mm-hmm. A vision quest is go out for a day's walk. Walk like maybe 10 miles or something. Take some sandwiches with you, some drink. Take a notebook with you. The first few hours, your mind will be still spinning. Turn off your phone. Nobody will actually miss you for a day unless it's dangerous. Then you should keep your phone on. But stay away from the internet and walk for like 8 hours to 10 hours. Give yourself a good dinner and make notes. Find out and ask yourself the question, what if anything was possible? There was an empty world, a big empty canvas. What would I love? Not what would I like, or should I? No, what would I love to paint on that canvas? And the first thing that comes to mind is like, I don't know, because emptiness and unknown scares us. And then suddenly, what if that actually could happen? What feels right? And you always feel what's right, but your mind screws you up because information comes in. I should do this, I should do that, and we're all distracted. My aim is to help people live a first-hand life and create first-hand shows that are original to you, that feels like coming out of the closet. It's like, it's really weird, but I love alchemy. Nobody does it, but I love alchemy. Now it's my task to translate it into a form and shape that is understandable for the audience, but is driven by my fascination for transformation. So the advice would be, go out, silence yourself, get in touch with what you truly feel, and from there, let images and imagery pop up in your mind. That will be original. The next step, obviously, is to turn it into a shape and form that is that you can communicate to people. And then that's the next step. But you're not compromising yourself. You're actually agreeing with yourself.
Okay, that's fine. And you gave right now a part of the answer of the next question, because I have the same question about non-magicians. What will be your specific advice for non-magicians about, I don't know, creativity, their work, and so on?
Yeah, you're right. It is basically the same answer, because some people live a second-hand career. And if you would truly ask them, with a wave of my hand, you got $1 billion, because now your fear of needing to earn money is away. The practicality of it will kick in later. But first you need to get to that point of like, if I don't have any fears, everything is all right. I have a house, I have friends and maybe a partner, maybe I feel happy. I have all the money in the world. I have no worries. And the Vision Quest will tell you, then I would love to be a hairdresser or something. I would love to be a cartoon drawer. Now, once you know that, you can't deny it anymore. It's your truth. And that's a first-hand. It starts to become a first-hand life or a first-hand career or a first-hand relationship. You start to define it in a creative way. Now, you look at reality. And you go like, oh, where am I living? How do I stay true to what drives me, what excites me? And now the creative process is, how do I find a shape and form in order to communicate it to the world? Because you could be a hermit alone on a mountain and be happy with yourself. That's not my style. I love to interact with people and figure out ways to stay true to myself and still do it. So when do I corporate work? I don't have a problem dressing with a tie or dressing up in a tuxedo or whatever. But I work for homeless people. I'm just in my jeans and I'm not even wearing a jacket. That's not important to me. The core, the essence of what I want to do with them, that's important to me. The way I look is just a creation. It's just a shape and form. It's just like the potatoes. I stay true to my potatoes, but I can prepare them in any way you like.
Okay, that's fine. And to end, do you have a message to share for magician or non-magician that are watching us? It could be an advice, it could be an opinion, whatever you want to share with the audience.
It would be the message that you have been creating all of your life the way I just told you. You've been shaping your life the way you want. The moment you start to think and talk, and even before that, you're already shaping your life and creating experiences. The only difference I make is 80% of my life, I still do that on second-hand basis. I drive at the right side of the road. I didn't invent it. I just go along with it because it works. So 80% is like a no-brainer. I don't even think about it. That's easy. I just make the difference once you're already creating by the way you think, by what you decide, by what you do, who you surround yourself with. You're already doing that. So you cannot not create. If the 80% is out of the way, try to realize, oh, I could actually speak up here. I could dress differently. Start to experiment with that, because some people say, first I need to discover my origin. Well, you could, before I really can live a first-hand life. My advice would be, start living and trying to live a first-hand life on the course towards discovering, or towards doing that. You will actually discover what your origins are. So what I did in my life is just try out a lot of things, thinking I would love it, and suddenly like, yeah, okay, that was nice for a few years, but actually I got closer to who I really was. So turn it around, don't wait for it, just go out, fall flat on your mouth, fail, have some friends that comfort you, and then you're closer to like, oh, this really felt good. But stay true to your gut.
Okay, thank you very much for this nice interview. It was very awesome, and we are going to be busy with the rest of the masterclass because it's today. Yes. So I see you very soon, I hope. And until there, back to the studios.
Thanks.
I hope you liked the interview. I want to make 3 huge thanks. To George Parker, of course, it was one of the best interviews I made and I'm very glad of it. To Alex C, that you maybe already know, who produced this masterclass and who also made this interview possible. And to the place where the interview was made, called Le Track, or Le Track, which is an amazing place to enjoy good times and good shows. We are coming to the end of this video, but before we say goodbye, I want to present you 3 books from George Parker. The first one is Indexterity. I will not give you a lot of details about this book because this video is also for non-magicians, but if you are a magician, feel free to inform you about this one. The second one is The Little Book of Creativity, which is for everybody, even non-magicians. This book helps you to develop your creativity with a lot of tips and tricks. In fact, it's based on the day-to-day job of George Parker as a consultant. And you can see I'm just busy right now reading it. And the last one is Performing Magic with Impact. This one is only for magicians who want to push their magic very far. You don't buy this book for tricks, even if there are wonderful routines in it. But the essential of this book are gold advices written all along the pages. You don't want to miss this one. Well, we are finally at the end of this video. As usual, feel free to check the description of the video where I put all the links and details from this video. I see you in the next video. Until there, take care of you. Ciao! Woohoo!